Welcome back to the Division 2. In this video we are going through the recap of State of the Game. It's basically State of the Game 2.0 because I simplify what they go through, I just take the main highlights of what players might be interested in, whack them into a video so that you guys know. And before we get into it, if you are interested in Division 2, State of the Game, all that good stuff, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on bell notifications, as I do cover this stuff every single week, minus last week because when they did State of the Game, I was busy grinding all of the Episode 3 content. So when we first got into the one this week, it kind of seemed as though it was going to be a more boring one, just finding out about the enemy factions and stuff. But the more we got into it, the more my list built up of topics to talk about, and it was in the end quite interesting. To start it off, there is no maintenance this week. They are working on making the pre-order available for Warlords of New York on the PS4. There are new, weird, dodgy walls that are happening, like the invisible walls. They will be fixed with Title Update 8, which is March the 3rd with Warlords of New York. There was a miscommunication in the Twitch drops, and you will get the items if you log into the game before March the 3rd. And then Finding Tommy, the community event we all had to find the teddy bears scattered around DC. That is going to award us with 3 apparel cache keys and a nice new weapon skin called Fragment. Then the Covert Hunter outfit, so not the Stinger Hunter, the yellow one that everyone got from the Refer a Friend program. The new full black Covert Hunter outfit will be available in the store, so you can buy it, although it's also available through apparel caches. So you don't necessarily need to buy it to get it, but you will need to play the game to earn the cache keys, open the caches, and then it's kind of like an RNG thing, whether you're going to get that or a load of aviator gear, which is what I always seem to get. There's been another miscommunication with how long it takes to be rewarded your yellow hunter outfit for referring friends. It can take up to 24 hours after you complete the friend referral for the outfit, but if you do not receive it within 24 hours, you need to contact Ubisoft support. Whether or not they'll get back to you about it is a different story. So, getting into the good stuff, the main section of this State of the Game this week. The Cleaners and the Rikers are 2 enemy factions that have made their way to Lower Manhattan, which is where Warlords of New York will be based. There are new and different ways of them fighting, and the remains of the LMB are down there as well. The Black Tusk have recruited a lot of the LMB, that's why I said the remains, so they have a couple of new archetypes. Then before we carry on, the title of this video, the new raid, which is the Foundry, is going to drop the BEARER 2.0. That's what Drew said during this week's State of the Game. I don't know if he was supposed to say it or not, but it's got me thinking, with the original BEARER being tied to Operation Dark Hours, the first raid, now all of a sudden we're getting BEARER 2.0. I mean, it's probably a completely different gun, but if they are naming it 2.0, then it's got to be in some way related to the original, which will mean the original one is going to be really badly out of date. And in my head, it would be a good option to remove the BEARER from the original raid, put it into the normal exotic loot pool, but then at the same time the question stands of what would you have as an exclusive reward? What would be the point of running through the original raid? And yes, I know a lot of people would be pissed if they released the BEARER out of the raid. But to kind of balance it out, there are 5% of players, as an example, that have completed the raid, 95% that haven't. So there will be a much bigger, there will be a majority of the player base that will actually get their hands on this gun if they release it from the raid. And I mean, it's an old gun now anyway. Not many people use it. It's nice to have in your collection. So to me personally, I put in a little bit of a grind. I know there are players that did 100 plus runs without getting it. But to me, I wouldn't be fussed either way. Obviously, I'd be a little bit annoyed that I've grinded for that gun. I feel I deserve it. But then you see games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order that give all the pre-order stuff to everyone. So it's kind of like the devs are giving it to a more wider audience, a bigger part of the player base. So I would totally agree with them if they decided to remove it from the raid. Because at the end of the day, it makes it fair for a much bigger part of the community. So, back onto the actual topic of State of the Game. The new enemies will have a turret skill that will drop napalm, so you can't use the cover you were using. It basically spreads across that cover, but the turret will have a weak point and will have a small radius of damage it deals to nearby enemies when it's destroyed. At the moment, the devs are calling it napalm goo. The Rikers will have nail bombs, nail guns, and the heavies will place a stationary MG that them and their team can use. The Rikers are a faction, for those of you that don't know, that will use more teamwork than other factions to flank us and do stuff like that. They're basically their strategy is to work as a team. The leader of the Rikers can overheal their whole team, but when you kill them, the overheal disappears. So if you do come across a leader of the Rikers, you need to try and take them out first, otherwise that overheal is going to make things tougher. If you destroy the Riker tank's flasher on his shield, it's on the front of his shield, it's going to be like flashing. If you destroy that, it will blind him and the enemies behind him. He's always going to try coming closer to wreck you with his nail gun because the nail gun doesn't have a big range. So the closer he gets, the more enemies behind him. If you destroy the flasher on the front of his shield instead of trying to get like headshots and stuff to kill him, then you're going to blind all of the enemies within that radius. The new archetype for the Black Tusk means we have a lot less drones during activities, but the rushers will now run SMGs. I believe they're going to use shotguns when they get up close, and they will have flashbangs as well. And if I remember correctly, they said the flashbangs will only be on the elite variants of those enemies. The LMB support enemy will drop a support station healing everyone around it, but if you kill all the surrounding enemies, like what happens with another enemy type in the game, then I'm guessing you interact with it, you will be awarded medkits. Grenadier Warhounds are new into the game. They will fire a volley of 3 grenades, with the grenades basically upgrading and getting different status effects the higher the difficulty of the Warhound, and their weak point is on their back. Minigun Warhounds are also new. They will constantly move around whilst shooting their minigun at you, but they have big red weak points on their legs, so that once you pop a weak point they'll drop to the floor, then's your chance to kind of spray it and get it killed. The devs did mention that it's advised to stay behind cover and do not expose yourself to them or the minigun will slaughter you. It is possible to have all 3 types of Warhounds, so the Grenadier, the minigun and the standard sniper. All 3 of those can spawn into the combat area at the same time, which is going to be absolutely brutal if we are not strategic. Legendary difficulty is going to be the highest difficulty in the game, so above heroic. It's going to be available with Warlords of New York, and the heavies, instead of having a healing hive on their back, they're going to have a wasp hive. So as they're pushing closer to you, they're going to be like dropping out these wasps, they're going to be attacking you, they're going to be more annoying. And all other Black Tusk enemies have variants on legendary difficulty that have a twist added to them, making them harder to deal with, but there could also be some apparel if we do beat legendary missions. Then there will be new hunters in both New York and DC, so there's going to be a lot more secret hunter stuff we're going to have to do. And this one was literally just to clarify that the new hunters will be both in New York and DC. There will be level 30 and level 40 DZ brackets. And the exact same leveling applies from PvE to PvP in terms of leveling the lower players up to their friend's level. So for example, if you're level 30, your friend is level 40, your level 40 friend wants to go into the Dark Zone, you will be scaled up to... They said it won't be equal, you won't be more powerful than your level 40 friend, but you will be very close. A lot of people were asking if there's a reason to go back to DC after completing the campaign in Warlords of New York, and Seasons is the reason to go back. At the end of the New York campaign, which is the only time we'll be able to re-access DC, there will be seasonal objectives that will take us to both areas. So let's say there's daily objectives we have to do for these seasons. One day there might be go kill 20 cleaners in New York. The next day might be go and eliminate 50 Black Tusk enemies in West Potomac Park or something like that. Basically, objectives in both areas. The targeted loot will also be spread across both places, both DC and New York. So one day you might log on, you're wanting a rifle and an assault rifle. The rifle could be in DC, the assault rifle might be in New York. So they're giving us a reason to go, like, basically switch between both places and utilize the whole of the game. The same as the DZ, it happens for the raid as well. You can play the raid at any level, so a level 30 player can be scaled up to level 40 if their friend's level 40, and we can always play with anyone, and the loot is going to be scaled to our level. So if I'm level 30, Con's level 40, and Pete's level 40 as well, and I want to go into the raid, I can go in there, but the drops are going to be based at level 30 for me, level 40 for those two. And that is pretty much all we had for State of the Game today. So that is going to do it for the video. I'll be back next week if there is a state of the game next week, and there'll be plenty more content for you guys to watch on the channel. But that's going to do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.